Hi, welcome to Segments by Parimala. Today we have a special interview where we're introducing a candidate who's running for Frisco City Council Place 4 in upcoming May 3rd, 2025 elections. So join me in actually talking to Gopal Ponangi Garu. He's a longtime public servant and a community advocate, and also a former vice president of Frisco ISD and Board of Trustee. So he's here to talk to us about his future vision for Frisco and a lot more about the coming up elections. Hi, Gopal.
Hello, Parimala.
So thank you for doing this interview with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity.
So let's just dive in. So I know you have worked in Frisco ISD for the past 5 years in public governance, right? And how do you think your experience being in that ISD role or a public governance role help you shape your preparation for upcoming elections for the city council?
Absolutely. For the benefit of our viewers, I would like to mention that I first got elected as a school board trustee in 2019, and then I got re-elected in 2022.
Nice.
So it's been over 5 years since I've been serving the community as a school board trustee. And as a school board trustee, one of my responsibility is, apart from being fiscally responsible, apart from taking care of what a trustee needs to do, my responsibility also is to be an advocate for the students, advocate for the teachers, advocate for the staff, advocate for the community, and be a bridge between the community and then the governance of the school board. So the last 5.5 years, there were so many situations where I had to take some tough decisions, where I had to be a bridge between the community and then the governance. And of course, attending so many board meetings, subcommittee meetings, attending the events because I'm an elected official, and attending to the issues more importantly. So all of these has helped me to shape myself to get ready for the city council. All I'm doing is, instead of supporting the K-12 community, I'm now expanding and then serving everybody in the community.
That makes sense. Do you feel like you've gotten to learn about the community and their needs by playing that role before?
Absolutely. Actually, this being an advocate for the community did not start just when I got elected in 2019. I've been serving the community since last 15 to 20 years in various capacities through various nonprofits. And also within the school board, prior to being the school board trustee, I was part of the long range planning committee, programs and evaluation committee. And then I also have founded my own nonprofit, which provides scholarships to the high school students. It supports a cancer clinic in Richardson, which provides free treatment for people with no insurance or underinsured. So I've been engaging with the community in several roles prior to getting elected as a school board trustee in 2019. So that experience, added with the 5.5 years of rich experience, getting in front of the community, making some tough decisions, being in a policy making role, it has given me enough, strength for me to, expand much beyond the K-12 community to everybody in the community.
I want to keep this interview so much about the election, but there's a part of me that's dying to ask you something. I mean, what inspired you to actually tell yourself, I want to be part of this political arena, like to make a difference? Is there something that triggered? Was there a turning point?
Yes, actually, long time ago, when I moved to US in 1998, or when I moved to Dallas in 2000, or when I moved to Frisco in 2003, I never imagined that, I will run for office and I will be considering to run for the city council's role too. I never thought that such roles are open for an immigrant like me.
Yeah.
But over a period of time, serving the community and being part of the various subcommittees in the school district, and then being part of various campaigns, not just for me, but for other candidates, that sort of gave me the strength. And at the same time, very accidentally in 2018, when I was supporting one of the candidates during the elections, She said that, hey, we need good people for our school district. You know how to run the election, you know more about the school district. So why don't you consider running for the school board? I never thought that it was a serious comment, and then I took it easy. But after a month, I called her and then said, hey, did you really mean it? Then she said, of course I meant it. Then I said, what do I do now? Then she said, she gave me a path. I said, hey, you need to do X, Y, Z, these are the steps you need to do. So I followed her, and then, here I am.
Was it hard to find that support, or was there a fear factor saying, oh, will I be the first person actually being a trendsetter in taking this path that no one has taken?
No, actually, yeah, I did not, because you'll not believe it. When I ran for the first time, I never ran to win, actually. I ran to run. But during the campaign trail, when I met one individual, she said, hey, you're not running for the sake of running, you're running to win. Did you know that? So that was a paradigm shift for me. I never thought that I'll win. Oh, really? Do you think I'll win? She said, of course you'll win. You got everything. So you need to, get on with it, and then, think that you are the winner and then run. So that paradigm shift helped me.
So there's a passion and a dedication, I guess.
Yes,
and that's
absolutely.
what you talk about, right?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
So there's not just to have a passion, but have that passion with the dedication.
Yes.
So I hear so much about you want to be closer to the community so that you can kind of resonate with what people are thinking. How did you... 2019 and beyond was COVID times, and getting close to community was not easy. Actually, we were all told to stay away.
Yes.
And, have that segregation or separation. Was that something difficult for you to understand during that tough times? Because you obviously were in that position during the most difficult times of this entire world.
Yes. So it was a difficult time for the world, and it was a difficult time for the school district too, because we had two groups of people. One group didn't want to have a mask, and then one group wanted to have a mask. So there were conflicting situations. Of course, as a school district and then as a school board trustee, my aim is to follow the state law. But at the same time, it did not deter me from meeting the community members and then understanding where they are coming from, what their concerns are, and then explaining what the school district is doing and why it is doing. So while it was a difficult time, but I took opportunities to utilize Zoom and then utilize some distance with respect to the, when I was meeting people, to maintain certain distance and then, get the communication going, so that, I was still available and communicating with people and doing what I can do.
I can attest to that because I've known you for a while now, that you are definitely closer to the community, and not just closer, but almost personable. So you feel like you have someone who's representing you and your beliefs out there, and not some office that's running. It's a person running. I want to talk a little bit about your vision and what your aspirations are for the city of Frisco in your elections, so that our audience can know. You mentioned a lot about opportunities as in jobs. You mentioned a lot about infrastructure as in making community safe for people. And the most wrenching part is like the property taxes that we all face here, and education and younger. So I want to touch on those topics. Were these entities or components something that you've heard quite a bit from the community, or is it just from Indian community, or overall as a Frisco?
Yeah, I mean, even though I was elected as an Indian, and I'm from India, but I never, acted as if I'm representing one particular community. The entire community elected me in 2019 and 2022. Even the nonprofit that I have founded, it's not catering just to the Indian community. The scholarships that we give, or the beneficiaries of the cancer clinic, they are everybody in the community. So I never felt that, I need to, while I'm representing a community, but I'm serving everybody in the community. And then coming back to the vision, my vision is very, very simple, because I've been here since last 21 years. I've grown along with this city.
Yeah.
I would say that, I've spent my most adult years in Frisco than any other city.
Yeah.
So, there's a passion towards this. And then, I've seen what's happening and all. And then I was also part of the Frisco Economic Development Corporation. So that gave me certain inputs as to what we need to do. So I put together my vision in a very, very simple terms. One is safety and security. And the second is bring more jobs and then add additional tax revenues to the city so that the homeowners reduce the taxes for the individuals. And then third is to ensure that the traffic flow is smoothened by using technologies and then by paying more attention to what's happening and all. So these are three major thrust areas or focus areas for me as a future council member.
Is the education in there because you came from Frisco ISD?
Well, education is always there because, even as a nonprofit, I provide scholarships to the students.
Yeah.
And education is always important at all stages. So I think, it's a important component, definitely.
Is it too much to ask you to tell us how do you vision yourself strategically in bringing more jobs to a city? That's a big task to undertake. And I think I've seen or heard somewhere about the PGA. So can you tell about that?
Yes, absolutely. So during my role as an Economic Development Corporation board member, I had an opportunity to be in the first row seat to understand what it needs to bring more corporates to Frisco, what it needs to bring more jobs to Frisco, what it needs to retain the jobs in Frisco. So, and then I was part of the conversations with some of the entities to tell them, how good our school district is. And then, if you observe, mostly the corporates will come to those cities where the city is decently built up. So when the city is built up, 80% or 70% and all, then the entities know that, there is reason, the talent pool available. So once they know that the talent pool is available, then and then the school district is good, and then the city is giving decent incentives, then they'll definitely consider come to the city. And then I have that experience. So I'm very sure that, I'll be able to work with our ADC and then, ensure that there are more jobs here. And then the people who are living here, instead of driving all the way to Dallas or to Irving, at least some of them, not everybody, but they'll find a role here where they will, instead of driving for 2 hours every day, they'll probably drive for about half an hour every day and then, improve their own quality of life.
I have to say that's the greatest thing that anybody could hear right now because DFW Metroplex is so wide to go from one place to the other. It takes at least a minimum of 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And tell us about the traffic. I don't want to say modernization, but traffic, streamlining the traffic or reducing the amount of people spent on highway. Tell us about that as to what...
Sure. So as cities grow, even if people don't have to come to Frisco, say somebody is in Prosper or Salina and then they have to move to Dallas or Addison, they still have to pass through Frisco. Or somebody from the east, they have to go to west, they still have to pass through Frisco. So apart from the population within Frisco increasing. So, the increase in traffic is for multiple reasons. But whatever be the reason, it is up to us, the governance, to ensure that, we are using latest technologies so that the traffic flow is improved. And then we should pay close attention. The city is decently old now. It's not a brand new city anymore. So we need to ensure that the roads upkeep is happening. And then we should also be smart enough to see that, if we need to increase 2 lanes, 2 left lanes, then, add an extra left lane. Or maybe increase the left-only lane to, instead of 5 cars, maybe, 10 or 15 cars, we need to do that. So we need to be very alert to, how the traffic flow is happening and then work towards it so that, the things are taken care of for the community and then the traffic flow is sort of taken care of.
Do you think that'll raise our toll?
Actually, not really, because, most of the, other than the tollway or the 121, but the traffic within the Frisco is mostly without any tolls. So, it will not be impacting the tolls from the toll standpoint.
Oh, that's a relief. Agree that Frisco is young, but at the same time, it's old too, because it's at least been a couple of decades since it started growing. Do you think there's still that room for infrastructure to bring more companies into the city and more jobs into the city? Does that look promising to our...
Absolutely. So typically what will happen is the corporates, in order to move, they will move only when the city has grown to over 70% or 80% built up from the residential standpoint. We are at that stage now. And then from the commercial built out standpoint, I would say that, we are somewhere between 20 and 30%. So there is a very good chance of another 30 to 50% of the commercial zoned land to still develop. So this is the right time, in fact, for the corporates to move. It was not 10 years ago. Okay. Now is the time. So now is the time to invest and then have more corporates to move.
Yeah. Let's talk about security, public security right now. Whether it's online security or just roaming around just in a mall or sitting at your house, how would you say that you will ensure that the people in Frisco will feel secured and safe in the city?
It's already happening, actually. So if you see the Money magazine, rated Frisco to be, in 2018, rated Frisco to be one of the best, safest cities. Smart Asset, another entity, has said both in 22 and 23 that Frisco is one of the safest cities. So it's already happening, and then it did not happen by accident. It happened because of some intentional investments that were done by previous governance, by the previous city manager, the current city manager, previous mayor, council members. So they have invested in the first responders, both fire and police department. And then as a future council member, I would like to ensure we are continuing to do the same. Mainly because, if the city is not secure, people are not going to move into that city or stay in that city. Yeah. And, as of now, we have about 50% of our budget allocated to first responders. And then I'll continue to ensure that enough funds are allocated to the first responders so that they have more resources available in terms of human capital. They have more training that is available for them, and they have more equipment, latest equipment. And then that will sort of strengthen them and then provide more and more better services to our community.
Everything that you're saying just resonates very well to me as a citizen. So I feel complacent. I feel like calmer. So if I think about the younger generation right now and those who are going, whether it's middle school, high school, college, doesn't matter, how promising will Frisco look like to them for them to stay here as opposed to looking for jobs elsewhere or going elsewhere? Because do you think Frisco will have that feel of a bigger city, but at the same time maintain that smaller coziness?
That is the challenge for us as the current council members and then future council members, because as the kids are growing here, probably they'll leave the city for a college that they like. It may be anywhere in Texas or outside Texas too. However, our goal is to ensure that they come back to Frisco. They may not go back and then stay in their parents' place. However, we need to find enough employment for them. So as I said, now is the right time to engage closely and actively with the corporates to have them move their headquarters, or you can say it home quarters, home office, or, have their branch offices come here. So with that, the youth who have grown up in Frisco, who have seen Frisco during their entire childhood, they can come back to Frisco, they can work there, get married, raise families, and then, they can be the second or third generation Friscoites.
I totally agree, because if you really think about Frisco ISD, it's one of the best in the country. I mean, Plano, Frisco, McKinney, it's back-to-back cities. So I feel like I know what your vision is. I feel like our audience know what your vision is as to what you stand for in this election. How do you think, for those who are thinking about the elections and upcoming, which is May the 3rd, right?
Yes.
May the 3rd elections. What sets you apart from the other candidates who are running for the same position?
Absolutely. So the May 3rd is the actual election day, and then the early voting starts from April 22nd. And Of course, more information is available on my website, Vote for Gopal, about the election days, dates, times, locations, and all. And then coming back to how I am different from my opponents, I'm the only candidate who's running in the Frisco City Council Place 4 who has experience of being an elected official already. And then I have been in the role of making decisions, the policy decisions that are needed for the community. So I have been there. And then I've done it for 2 terms. So this is my second term. So I have that rich experience. I'm the only person of all the candidates running for Place 4 who has experience of being in the EDC, Economic Development Corporation, being there, figuring out what needs to be done in order to bring corporates to Frisco, in order to bring jobs to Frisco, in order to retain jobs in Frisco. So I was there. None of my opponents have that. I'm the only candidate who has got a nonprofit who provides scholarships to the high school students, which also gives support, financial support to a cancer clinic that provides free treatment for people with no insurance or underinsured. I'm the only candidate who has been here in Frisco since last 21 years. Nobody else was here. So definitely, and then I'm vested in Frisco. I have 2 homes in Frisco. I live here with my family, with Viji, my wife, Ananya and Anisha. Of course, Ananya is traveling now, and with our pet Coco. So this is where I am all the time. We are now interviewing in Frisco. So Frisco is everything to me. I have given everything to Frisco, and I'll continue to do that.
Great. If there's something that calls Gopal stands for this. Like there must be some brand, right? So what would you want our audience to remember you by when they go to that booth on the election day?
Connectivity. I take connecting with people very, very seriously. I work on having a one-on-one relationship with as many people as possible. There have been so many instances and incidents where people have come back to me and then said that, hey, you are one person who will be responding to a text or a phone call or something like that. I may not be able to resolve every issue in this world, but at least I will listen to them and then work on connecting with the right people so that there can be a solution moving forward.
That's great. Just for the logistics, coming to the minutia of things, where do people go on that May, either April the 22nd or May the 3rd? Is there a website? I know there's a voteforgopal.com. Anything else that they need to just watch out for?
Well, mainly they need to look out for the timings. Typically during the early voting, it is between 8 and 5. And
the locations?
Yes, and then the locations. And then the last 2 days of early voting, it is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on the election day, it is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And Frisco is in 2 counties, Collin and Denton. So the people in Denton County on the election day on May 3rd, they need to only vote in the precinct they are living in. Okay. So they need to pay attention to that. But other than that, all information is there in Vote for Gopal. And then we'll keep on updating the information so that it'll be a one-stop shop for our community members to know about me, to know about what I stand for, and then to find out where to vote for, and then what time to vote for, and of course, whom to vote for. This is basic information, but I'm going to have you recite it anyway. Only the citizens, right, of the Frisco. That is correct. And it's not like Plano people can come and vote. That is correct. The residents, the citizens, the U.S. citizens in Frisco can have the opportunity to elect their future councilmen. Yeah, look at the voter registration. Okay, thank you so much. We've learned a lot about you. Wishing you the best in the upcoming election. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to connect with you. Parimala, it's such a pleasure and I'm honored too. You have given me an opportunity to share about my background, my passion, and my vision. I'm looking forward to having another conversation post-elections. Absolutely. I'm going to give you advanced best wishes and congratulations too. All right. Go with the positive. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for more information on Gopal Ponangi's upcoming election visions, and also the dates and then the location. You can find them on internet. If you want to know more about Mr. Gopal Ponangi, go to voteforgopal.com. And thanks.
And Parimala, before we wrap up, I want to tell one more thing.
Yeah.
I'm running for place 4,
Uh-huh.
and in the ballot paper, it'll be my name is number 4.
Oh,
So place 4, and then the 4th name they need to check.